Get to know the babes behind the brand as they talk business, women supporting women, and share what it's really like to work in the fashion industry.
Welcome back.
Hey.
I'm Donni Ray, founder and creative director of Privilege.
I'm Bailey, marketing manager.
And I'm Leah, operations manager. And then we have our lovely guest who will intro.
She's like sitting there blank.
She's like ready.
I didn't know I was supposed to say something.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm from Alfred. I'm the brand director.
Oh, no, you're the guest. You get to sit back and then we get to do like the...
I have a beautiful intro written for you. Okay. But yes, we have Michelle with us. We're so excited to talk all things Alfred's. With branding as notable as all of the celebrities that have been seen carrying their cups, Alfred's has expanded their coffee shops and tea rooms into 12 locations in the hottest neighborhoods around the world. From Texas to Tokyo, their world-class brand is recognizable anywhere you spot it. Welcome, Michelle from Alfred's.
Hi, nice to meet you all. I'm excited to be here.
We're so excited to have you. Like, we all have seen the brand. Being in Vancouver, we haven't been able to experience it firsthand.
I have.
Oh, you have.
I have,
you guys
and I was
have.
obsessed.
But we love what you guys are doing. It's so fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Which one have you guys been to?
I went to the Melrose one.
I went to
nice.
this one in Beverly Hills.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Melrose is the first one, so that's like always.
I think
the
I've been to
most
that one
special.
too,
Yeah,
actually.
it was so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
It's
it's
neat.
just, I'm really excited to sit down with you because I feel like just the whole conversation about branding, it's like definitely like a business that's been on my radar. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Very inspiring.
The brand is top notch. Let's do our Q&A and then we'll get more into the business and talk to Michelle. Donni, do you want to kick us off?
Well, I mean, I feel like I should take a bus for sitting here with a Cognizant coffee and not an Alfred's coffee.
Yeah.
So that's a start. But then, like, the karma in that, it's such a double-edged sword. I spilt it all down my leg when I was coming up to on the elevator, and I'm like, this is karma right now.
Yeah,
So,
we should have gone out to Alfred's first thing.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know, honestly.
I was contemplating bringing it, but I was like, if it comes, it's not hot. You know, it has to be just right, or
It's
else
so true.
you won't have the right experience. So.
Yeah, you don't want to really taint it. But I also drank like an 8-hour-old coffee yesterday. Yeah. So,
It was a desperate day.
what about you, Hunter?
I'm gonna take a boss because I made it to the gym this morning.
That is a boss.
Nice.
I seriously was sitting eating breakfast and she walks in. I was like, you're sweating. Did you go to the gym?
That is a real, like, and I took vitamins. I said, I'm
Yeah.
like, that's like same, right?
Yeah, basically, you're almost there.
Yeah. I got up and showered. That's totally equivalent to working out.
Yeah.
That is a major boss. Did
Yeah,
you do a
thank you.
full workout?
Well, Kate went to the steam room and then she got locked
Boss.
out, so I had
Oh.
to leave. But I mean, I got it. I was a little sweaty.
It's
so
a
it
nice
was
gym
enough.
down there, though. Like, all the
So
doors open,
nice.
like, it's like open
And it was
air.
empty for like quite a while, so it was really nice.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I have more of a confession. Okay, so first of all, I can't go barefoot in shoes. Like, sandals are obviously different, but I cannot do like sneakers and booties. I'm not you, Donni.
Yeah, and I'm like opposite. I'm like barefoot in everything.
I mean, I hate socks, but in shoes like that, I have to wear socks. And I've pretty much worn my white runners every day that we've been here.
too.
And I only brought one pair of socks to wear with those runners. You
There's
do
a
the math.
washing machine here.
To wash one pair of socks.
Just do it.
So
I
basically,
might
she has
have to.
stinky feet.
It's desperate. I have no joke. I can't wear them barefoot. And so I've been wearing these socks every day in my runners. And I'm like, this is
Okay, is that worse than me never wearing socks? Probably not.
True.
I don't know. Because what's the difference? I'm wearing the same ones every day.
I know, but the difference is I've worn these shoes like 50 times.
That's true. That's fair. That's
I just
fair.
don't like them, and I'm like, I feel like I have to like tell our guests I'm not a total freak, but like I
Yeah.
don't really sweat. So
Yeah,
I've like
that's
I
a
literally
great
like
thing.
my feet, like my shoes don't smell. I just like really don't like socks, so they fall down. You're pulling them up. They drive me crazy. So
I don't like them for that reason either, but the stance ones that we had, they're like the super low and they had like the rubber around the back. They're
love
such
those.
a dream.
Those are pretty good, actually.
I
will-
love
Those are the
those.
only ones I can wear, unless they're like
Yes.
super high socks for like boots. or
Agreed.
something.
Yeah,
That go way over your boots.
Yeah.
I do
I
have
agree.
those stance socks, and like for sneakers and working out, I will wear those.
They're good.
And they're no show. Like literally can't
totally
see them.
no show. You could not tell that I've been wearing the same socks in my runners.
But the best thing about no-show socks is you can't tell that I'm not wearing socks. Like they could be there, they could not be.
I'm bothered by the feeling of the shoes and like the liner
Yeah.
on my toes. I can't do no socks like you, Donni.
It's a weird confession. Anyways,
That was a bust
thank you for
and
sharing
a
that with us,
confession.
Leah. Thank you so much for
You
opening
are
up.
welcome. Michelle, do you have a boss or bust for us?
Mine is going to be a boss because I was actually listening to your podcast today. On
That's
my
preparation.
on my
That's
drive
prep,
here,
yeah.
and I was like, I should.
last 15 minutes ago.
So I was listening, and I don't know which one of you it is, but
What were we talking about?
you were talking about gas and how you always like.
That's
That's
Donni.
me.
Is that you?
That's
Okay,
Donni.
how you run out of gas. And as I was listening to that, I looked at my gas and I literally was like at 0 and didn't even realize. I was like, maybe I should check if I have gas. And then I had time, obviously, went and got gas before this. So
And you were still early.
That's a
and I
boss.
was early.
Okay, so
That
you're
is a
not me.
boss.
You're,
Is that what
you're
it
not
shows?
quite Donni. Donni would
helped
push
me.
it. She would drive
10
back.
minutes late
You were my
and an empty.
inspiration.
Okay,
So.
well, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. I'm so
You
happy
saved
that
me.
that is the reason we do the podcast to help people like you.
That's our
So
whole purpose.
grateful.
Donni, what's your weekly obsession?
I'm going to say I haven't used this, but I'm really liking my short hair.
It's so good.
I'm like, it's just like so refreshing. I can like get up, shower, do my hair. It's not a huge ordeal. I had long hair before.
really?
And it's just like, I feel like I have so much more time. It's so simple, but I'm like,
It's
fresh.
honestly think it's so fresh and chic and cool.
thank you. That's
I was
exactly what I want to
thinking-
hear. I'm a
this is
mom
so
too.
funny.
I have like 100 children. So like, I definitely like always fight like the mom. I'm like, don't want to be a boring mom.
It
That's so
doesn't
mean
look
actually
boring.
to other
Looks
mothers.
good.
I shouldn't refer to it like that, but
Well, it's more in what you define as a boring mom for yourself.
right. Just like really trying to spice it up.
Yeah. I honestly was thinking of your hair this morning when I was styling mine. I was like, we cut it around the same time. Like we both walked into the meeting on Monday and we're like, oh, cool. But I was thinking of your hair too, and I was like, man, Donnie's hair is so cool and chic. And so I got the chance to tell
I've
you
been
that.
posting some pictures lately, and I'm getting a lot of DMs that are like, I love your short hair. So I'm like, I feel like I was in that middle ground for a while, like trying to go short, and then I finally committed to like below
I'm
the
glad you
shoulders.
committed. It's so cute.
Yeah, I love it.
Just like enjoying the extra time I have, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah,
Like
that's
productive.
That's great. Hunty, your weekly obsession.
I've been taking oil of oregano pills, and I feel like that's the reason I haven't gotten sick at all. It's just like good for all around like health, even though like it's kind of gross. Like you kind of taste it a little bit, but I feel like it's worth it.
I'm like a full dropper right under the tongue and hold it for 3 minutes
I
kind of person.
can't.
I think
I
it tastes
can't
like
do that.
pizza. I'm like, it's oregano.
It
I
does.
I do it before dinner, and I normally make like a pasta, and I'll do the oregano and then eat the pasta.
That's a good system. That's a life hack right there.
Life hack.
That's like a good chaser.
Oh yeah, spaghetti is such a good
I should do
chaser.
that with tequila. Like I would like a Patron with this chaser of angel hair.
Yeah. And then record 4 podcasts the next day.
I actually didn't share this on yesterday's podcast. I was incredibly hungover. And,
All 4 of them.
All 4 of them. And I still did it. And I didn't even take a boss, so like nonchalant. But we did these shooters, and I'm just remembering they were like Bloody Mary shooters with oysters in them. There was like vodka. You put like an oyster. You shucked an oyster into the. We did it. We were at
It's almost
Catch.
like a Caesar.
It was kind of like a Caesar, and I was kind of hungry, so it just like
It's a double
satisfied
duty.
the whole urge to like have some drinks. And
Another life
a
hack
meal.
right there.
Yeah, I
It
was
just
like,
reminds me of like the Devil Wears Prada. Like, I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat a cube of cheese.
I'm gonna describe it for
hungry,
you
I'm gonna have a
guys,
shooter.
so our listeners can really understand what I experienced the other night. But it was like tomato juice, vodka, an oyster, a lot of horseradish. It was like very spicy. But anyways, it was an experience.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, my obsession, and also kind of a tip for everybody, is I've been kind of playing with a tofu scramble lately because I don't eat eggs. And it's honestly, okay, well, it's not exactly the same, but to me, who hasn't had eggs in years, it's exactly the same. But I found an egg seasoning that makes it taste.
Is it the same as the everything bagel seasoning you talked about yesterday?
No. This seasoning, it's nutritional yeast, Himalayan black salt, onion powder, turmeric, and paprika.
Yum.
You kind of like blend it up a little so it gets a little bit more powdery. Put that on your tofu when you fry it and scramble it, and it tastes like
Oh my
egg.
God, where do you get this shit from? That's amazing.
I spend a lot of time cooking and playing with
That's
things.
a really, really good. I don't know if you guys agree, but when there's color in a seasoning, I think mentally it makes it that much more appealing. Does it not?
Oh, yeah.
More flavorful.
And if you do a tofu scramble, it looks disgusting. So the turmeric and the nutritional yeast make it look a little more yellow.
Yeah.
Looks like egg. I put it in like
Turmeric, nutritional yeast, Himalayan black salt, Himalayan.
onion powder, paprika, and nutritional yeast.
Okay, you have to put that on our
I'll
group.
post the recipe in the group, like the proportions and everything, because it's not like 50-50.
I would almost like put that in a little seasoning and like use that for other things too. I feel like you
It
can
would
use that
be
for a lot.
really good on like potatoes if you roast potatoes.
Oh my God. You're
Yeah.
so
Or
inspiring.
even salad. Like do a salad with that would be really yummy too. And
it's such a
healthy.
good way to get turmeric. It's good for like anti-inflammatory purposes.
Yeah. And I did my tofu scramble in a wrap, so I made like some fried veggies in there and like salsa and hot sauce.
Yum.
Like a breakfast.
I know.
kind of
I'm
I had a
hungry.
banana this morning.
So yeah, that's my obsession and my tip, and I will definitely share the recipe with all of the right
That's a good
measurements
one.
in the group. So, Michelle, your weekly obsession.
My weekly obsession is the show on Netflix, Dating Around.
Okay, I've heard
I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys have seen it, but it's basically they choose one person who goes on 5 blind dates, and they go to like the same restaurant, like it's basically like the same date 5 times, and you're just like you see like the different people they go with, and honestly like
So it really brings it down to like the person.
yeah, but like the people that they choose them to go on a date with are like so different, and like honestly some of them are really crazy that you're just like I don't know why they thought these people would match, but like it's just so interesting to watch that.
Is it like a train wreck or is it like magic?
Yeah, most of it's a train wreck, I would say, that like it's just fun to watch.
It's like
but
brainless
yeah,
entertainment.
exactly.
I'm gonna watch.
But
I
you should
I
watch
heard
it.
about that. Was that on the Oasis podcast? I heard them talking about it. Maybe
Maybe I don't know.
I feel like
somebody
they'd watch
else.
that.
Like I feel like told me about this recently.
I feel like everyone's just talking about it now, so maybe.
Well, I've been like really into other Netflix, more serious, like killer narcissistic shows. So I'm gonna have to like switch gears and lighten it up.
Lighten it up for a little bit.
Balance.
Who's your boss babe crush, Donni?
Okay, I'm not going very far for this. I totally have been crushing on Jules.
Yeah.
From Jules Newmark from our podcast that we did. She is such a boss. I totally loved her energy, the way she spoke. Even before and after the podcast, like the conversation kept going. She was so inspiring to me. I just loved her hustle. I think like she is, like it was one of the greatest.
She had some really good quotes too, like just about getting out of your head and just like do it.
Oh, like
Her quotes were really good. I can't even
I
remember
will
them
go
all.
back and listen to that podcast. She had so many tidbits that I couldn't even quite keep up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just like, I think she hustles and truly authentically networks in a way where she connects with people like really truly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really
Her
liked her.
stories were great.
She is totally about the old school networking and building relationships, and that's really undervalued.
She had some crazy stories also that I want to like sneak peek. Like she was talking about like that fire festival and like her models that were involved in it. And we're going to try to plan another podcast with her models and talk more about that because that's like kind of like pop culture right now.
Yeah.
I just, it was a good one.
Hunty?
Mine would be she's like an Instagrammer, I guess. Tezza. It's like Tezza. She just has like seriously the coolest photos. I just like love her aesthetic and everything.
Yeah.
She has her own presets and everything too that I love and I use myself. So I just just good
Was
follow.
that the app that?
Yeah,
the
there's like a
editing
Tezza
app?
app.
This
is like,
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know it was like from someone.
Yeah,
I
she's
just
like
thought
a
it was,
major
like-
blogger. Or
So it's
Instagrammer.
Lightroom. They're all through Lightroom that people
No,
are doing
she-
these presets, right?
Yeah, but she has her own app.
Yeah, it's like
full
a separate app.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. We
Yeah.
should podcast
Cool.
with
I
her.
didn't know that.
Yeah, I think she's from New York, but she like her photos, they're not like the normal fashion, but they're all just like super out there and like really cool and yeah, just love
like
her
that.
stuff.
I'm going to
That's
look
awesome.
at her right now.
Yeah.
My
She
boss
copied
babe,
my haircut. Oh my god. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
she saw
She
you and was
must
like,
have.
oh, I gotta be like Donni.
So weird. Holy, she's a babe. Okay.
Okay. My boss babe crush, someone who I was obsessed with in her acting career several years ago, and then I kind of forgot about her and saw her on Instagram the other day, is Rashida Jones. I love her.
You bring up the most random people.
I
love
do.
it. Yeah.
I totally forgot about her. Not in an offensive way, but she's in some really great shows. Like Parks and Rec was hilarious. I Love You, Man. She's plays just a really interesting character too.
Okay, but tell me about her struggle, because I know there's one that's coming up here.
Well, there's lots, but I actually didn't specifically have anything. She's just really funny, and I just appreciate her acting and her as a person. For sure, there's some struggle, and she sticks up for causes, but I don't have any profound ones off the top of my head.
I'm checking her out right now. Creeping on her page.
Yeah, I like
She's
her.
in a lot.
She's in a lot, and she's really funny.
You know those faces, though, where you're like, they're in every single show, but you don't know their names?
Yeah.
Like, they play supporting roles in, like, everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Quincy Jones' daughter, so she's got a cool background, too. I really like her, and it reminded me, like, maybe I should go back and watch, like, Parks and Rec and I Love You, Man, because she's hilarious.
I Love You, Man is the best.
I know. Oh, my goodness.
So
Anyhow,
funny.
Michelle, boss babe crush.
My crush is Gilda Ambrosio. She is one of the 2 designers of the brand The Attico. You should look it up right now. It's basically like this Italian brand that's like it kind of takes like old luxurious styles and like remakes them and makes them more like trendy, I guess.
Cool.
But she's just like so cool. I'll look at her Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Like everything is just like amazing.
I'm following so many people now. Like, do this
From the
all time, every
podcast.
podcast.
All day.
Holy, I love this brand.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's very like luxe, but more modern, I would say.
It's like, oh my God, yes, look at these boots.
Yeah.
Oh, those are so cool.
So cool.
Yeah.
Okay, follow the Attico too.
All right.
Everybody.
We're all going to follow them now. New obsession.
Just pass along.
Donni, what's one thing you're working on improving?
This is something I've been thinking out for a little while. Something I'm really mindful of other people and how they feel or care, and I want to respect everybody's voice in the company. So I always like ask a lot of questions, but I'm trying to work on being more decisive myself. And just I actually, through one of our podcasts, someone was telling me that's a lot a Gemini trait, and I am a cusp Gemini Cancer, and I feel like I do have a lot of that where I'm very like I can be kind of airy and flip back and forth on decisions and not. Like I am open and I explore all sides of the equation. So I think that it's like a positive thing. But I think in certain times I need to just like make a decision and stick to it.
It can be hard though, decision making.
Yes.
That's a good thing to work on.
It's
a good
definitely
skill.
something that challenges me that I think I just need to just be a little bit more mindful of.
I think that's so good because some people would just be like, oh, I'm indecisive. Like, how do I change that? But it's totally a skill you can work on.
Well, I don't like that indecisive can sometimes look as an insecurity.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And because I don't think for me that's where it comes from. It's more, I just think like sometimes you actually there's no wrong decision. Like it's just committing to something and making a decision. So I'm not saying you just like freakishly pick one side, but just like respecting yourself enough and not judging yourself to just make a decision and own it and go with it and explore it. And if it's the wrong decision, it's the wrong decision. So that's,
Like there's where is all this pressure to be right on the first decision?
It comes from judgment. It comes from being afraid of someone judging the wrong decision, or maybe you judging yourself and how you look at other people's decision making. But I think we have to just like respect ourselves enough to like forgive ourselves for the wrong decisions we haven't even made yet.
That's so funny. I'm going to jump ahead from you, Hunter, for 1 second, because the one thing that I want to be working on is not judging and evaluating myself.
Yeah.
So when you're like, this comes from judgment, I'm like, that's what I want to be working on.
Well,
Not
one thing I've noticed also is that people that appear to be quite judgmental have a hard time making decisions. I think it comes from that fear of judgment. It's like the one thing that you fear in other people is the thing you have in yourself. Kind of, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a
That
rant.
makes sense.
Anyways,
That's good.
That's one thing I might be mindful of.
Hunter, what are you working on?
Well, I think I need to work on actually waking up at my first alarm, and this is something that I struggle with every day. I set my alarm like 2 hours before I actually have to get up because I know I just hit snooze like 15 times.
I'm a snoozer too.
And it's like so bad because then I'm just sitting there and like thinking about how much I don't want to get up when I should just be getting up.
I start snoozing at like 5 a.m.
Yeah, me too. So literally my alarm goes off every 10 minutes for like 2 hours, and it like hurts my soul to hear that alarm.
And it's kind of
every
like a way
time.
you would have been better off just having like the uninterrupted sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And
You're
then
kind
just
of
getting
you're
up.
kind of sacrificing everything.
Yeah.
And then you just wake up feeling disappointed in yourself.
Yeah, because I'm like, I could have just woken up like
Should
an
do
hour
what Leah
ago.
does and just put like, was that what you said? You set your alarm in the other room, so you have to get up and get it?
No, but that's a tip I've heard before. I don't do
Yeah.
that.
I
That's
saw something on
intense.
Instagram
That's
too.
intense.
It's like this floor mat. Have you guys seen this?
Oh, it's like an alarm
No.
clock.
And it's
on
an
the
alarm
floor.
clock, but the only way
yeah.
to snooze it is to put your feet on it.
Yeah.
So you have to like get out
Get
of bed
out
and
of
put
bed.
your feet on the floor
that's
mat.
I feel like I would reach my hands over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
like-
like, grab a
throw
stick.
my phone at the floor mat.
Like anything.
Seems like a big step for me at this point, but
I'm gonna buy you that.
That's funny. This morning I slept so well that I woke up before my alarm.
Wow.
that's almost worse.
Like
I feel like.
like 4 minutes before, and I was like, great, okay, I'll
That's
just
good.
get
If
up.
it's like 30 minutes before, you're like, oh, I'm just
Yeah,
gonna go
that's the
back to
bummer. But
bed.
today
Yeah.
was like, I feel like you would have loved that, like right before your
Never
alarm.
happens to me.
It changes though. Like me having kids has changed that. Like I become more of a morning person, obviously because you just get used to not sleeping. But before I had kids, I was like, I would snooze. Like I could not. I was the worst morning person.
That's so mean.
Okay, Michelle, one thing you're working on improving this week.
Working on improving, basically like just to take more risks, I think is really important. Like kind of just doing something and figuring out later, like if you need to deal with it, but just like jumping into things easier.
Yeah.
So
I like
I
that.
think that's,
That's like, why not? It's the first step.
yeah, just go for it. And if it doesn't work out, you'll figure it out later.
We'll deal with the
Just try
damage
something
after,
different
right?
next time.
Exactly.
I like that. Okay, let's talk more about you and Alfred's. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're doing, and a little bit about Alfred's for anyone who is under a rock?
Yeah, so
That's good.
so
Well, the brand is
Alfred-
everywhere on Instagram. If we're being honest, you may not have recognized that it's Alfred's, but you have seen the cups.
Yeah.
Or
Without
heard
a
of the
doubt.
butt first coffee.
Yeah.
or
and
seen it
everything.
on Daily Mail,
Yes.
Yeah.
something.
Okay, sorry, go on.
Yeah, so Alfred is an LA-based coffee and tea shop. Our first location was started on a Melrose Place in 2013, so 6 years ago, and it was really started as, you know, a place where you can kind of combine like the hospitality of like a really good coffee shop with a trendier vibe and something that's like comfortable to go to and really like experience more than just a cup of coffee. So I'm the brand director for Alfred. I do most of the things that deal with partnerships, branding in the stores, design, as well as, you know, signage in the stores, merchandise, all kinds of things that obviously contain the brand. So I've been doing that for about a year, but
I feel like that's a position that hasn't really been available at like a coffee shop.
yeah,
ever.
I mean,
Oh.
it's cool because the way that we work, we get to do a lot of different things that other coffee shops can't do, like because they're so restrained by either the way their brand image is, it's very like sterile and clean, or it's more of like a Starbucks where it's very corporate. So with Alfred, it's very fun because we can do things in like a voice of someone, you know, in their 20s or 30s, and
It's
be
more
like,
fringe.
yeah, and be like relatable and fun and cool, and not have to worry about like, you know, staying within like a smaller image that we have. So
That's so cool.
I totally agree, and I love that.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I don't know if we've said this on the podcast yet. I think we talked about it before. Josh, the founder, is your brother.
Yes.
First of all, before we get more into the branding, how is it working with family for you?
It's good. Honestly, at first it was a little hard because you're like, you don't know where you stand. You don't want to like overstep, and you kind of like have to figure out what each of you is good at and where, you know, like where you kind of separate, which is way easier now because it's kind of like I've fallen into like my niche of like what I do day to day, but it's really nice to collaborate with someone that's your sibling, and you don't really have to like beat around the bush, or like you kind of can just like get down to it and like bounce off of each other.
You're not worried about
easier.
offending someone
Yeah,
or saying something because they're just gonna say it back.
Exactly. Like it's way easier, and because we obviously are related, we do have more of the same ideas and vision, so it's really nice to be able to work with them.
That's really cool. So the brand is really what I think started Alfred's. Like it was obviously great coffee and everything, but it's all about like the vibe and the brand, and every location is different, right?
Yeah, so a lot of the locations obviously have a lot in common, but what sets them apart is that the neighborhood that they're in, they kind of like take pieces of that neighborhood and really incorporate it. So if you're going to like our Silver Lake location, it feels a lot grungier and has that like different vibe than if you go to the Beverly Hills location, which is like a lot brighter, greener. So it's
like really tailored to the neighborhood and exactly where it is.
And like
that's
the type of
kind of
people
connecting
that
with
are
your customers
coming.
instead of being so tied to your corporate
Yeah.
image.
Oh,
And
I
like
love
there
that.
are like elements of design or different things that we do keep within every location, like our But First Coffee neon. But like for example, that also is adapted. Like it's not always a cookie cutter image. Like it's gonna change based on where you are, and also like as we're developing, obviously there's new design ideas, so it's always
I want to
just
know what
changing.
the non-negotiables are, though. Like when you're opening a new location, like what is the non-negotiable? Like, obviously there's this like leverage with certain design and connecting with your customers, but like what is the one thing like we are not going to give up this? Is it the sleeve? Is it?
So I think honestly, like one of the things that Josh always says also is that he never wants to have one wall in the store that's just painted plain. So it's like either like covering something with tile, doing like woodwork or wallpaper, like something to make it interesting, that there's always like different textures and it's not like just falling flat almost.
Interesting.
Which is, like not a lot of people, also if you go in, you won't really notice it, but once you know that and like you kind of see it and you're like, oh, I get that.
You probably feel it. Like it probably affects the way you feel when you're in somewhere that is actually curated and complete.
Yeah, it's like the atmosphere.
But you can't quite fit your finger on it. I'm going to look for that though when I go.
Oh, I think that's so interesting. Like now that you say that, I'm like, I got to go back and look at all the photos of the locations and notice that.
And also just like making sure they all feel a little lived in. Like you don't want it to be so clean that you're coming in and it's kind of like a cold coffee shop vibe. Yeah, because that's not going to last. It's like...
Yeah, the white on white on white or something.
Yeah, it's just like you want it to feel homey a little bit.
Which location is your favorite?
The Melrose Place, for sure.
The original.
Just because, it's the original, like every time you walk in, it's like the first time you were there. And like you see so many people like waiting in line still to this day. And it's just like a good feeling to be like, it's still going.
And how, like, was reading the story about how it started, and I feel like that was such a clever location at the time because there wasn't a whole lot around there. But that's it's a cool neighborhood now.
Yeah, I mean, like, Melrose Place 6 years ago was literally just for super high-end shops. Like, there's nothing really else to do. But it kind of paved a way for people to come to the street and hang out and, like, just be able to come for not obviously buying like a designer bag or something, but just to like chill there. And then now obviously more things have popped up that are like more relatable and made it a destination. So
there's
really
some
cool.
really cool places around there now.
I love that area.
How have you guys picked new neighborhoods to expand into, like Tokyo?
I know. I think
that
that's
is so cool.
Yeah. So it kind of works different for that. We were approached by like a group that does cafes in Tokyo and kind of like, they really love brands from LA. So they came to us, really wanted to take us to Tokyo and give like that sense of LA to their crowd. So for something like that, it's just super cool to be able to see like a vision that you created just like popping up somewhere else, and people perceive it so well because they love international things, and it just became such a destination that it really worked. So
really cool.
That's
Because
really
I'm like,
neat.
I often like get curious about like, what's the discussion at the board table? When
Yeah.
you're like, okay,
Yeah.
we're opening some new locations. Where's it gonna be? Where are we
Yeah.
gonna go? Like, is
We're
it
gonna
New York?
open in
Is it-
Tokyo.
Tokyo is the next step. Like, it's just like, that is intriguing to me.
But like for the shops in LA, it's more about just as they come up, you know, it's not like we're really seeking out like we need to be in Studio City today. Like if a great opportunity comes up and it's on an amazing street in a great neighborhood, like we're gonna go for it.
You have this like really chill aura about yourself. That's, I can tell like the corporate vibes are very, not fly by the seat of your pants, but open to new ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say
we're-
being open and like seizing an opportunity when it's in front of you instead of being like, no, that's not in the plan. You're like, this is a great time,
Yeah,
an
like,
opportunity. Let's do it.
Pops
Like, should
up.
we? All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
if it
like
pops up and it's a good opportunity, obviously we're gonna go for it. But we don't want to force anything if it's not right for the brand.
And then you just have to follow your gut, I think.
Yeah.
with that.
Exactly.
That's really neat. And then you're something that I was really curious about because your brand is so strong. How did you guys create this strong brand versus just like another business? Like how did you develop the brand and the branding?
So I think the brand itself, obviously, like, you know, if you see that on Instagram or something, you're gonna go in once, get your coffee, like if you want to take a picture, whatever. But to create like a brand that's more long lasting, it has so many more elements that
You
are
have to have great coffee.
Yeah,
Let's
you-
just address that.
Of course.
things that are gonna make people come back. It's not just about the first time. Like you want them to be brand loyal. So obviously, great coffee. You need to have a good product. You need to have great customer service, and the overall experience just has to be there. So yeah, it's all these different elements besides just, you know, the design and what you're looking at, but really how you feel when you come in and making you want to come back every time.
And that's the atmosphere that you guys build with like the design and all that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
That's amazing. And I love that you guys have created like a feeling in different places.
Yeah,
Because that's what you're describing is how you feel when you walk in, and that involves like everything from who's saying hi to you and like
Right.
where the sugar and cream
Right.
is placed and like all those little details.
And I think it's really cool for us because if you've been to one of our locations and you happen to be like stumbling upon another one later on, it's not like, oh, I've already been there before, like I'm not going to try it.
Yeah.
But it's so different like from store to store that you're like, I almost want to experience the other
Creates a
one.
curiosity.
Yeah.
If you know that. What about
There-
customer service?
Yeah.
I'm interested to see like what your views on customer service.
I think one of the biggest things that we've always had is, you know, making sure we have great customer service. That's just always been like at the forefront because you can go into a coffee shop, you can see that it's great, you can get great coffee, but your human interaction with someone is like super important in how you feel about it.
I totally agree.
Because yeah, I mean, you want to be greeted, like we have so many regulars, we have so many new faces, but literally every single person is greeted when they come in by either the register person or the barista. They're asked how their day is. You know, we make those connections that really set us apart from being just like another chain, which is super important.
I was going to say there's, even when you were talking about a different experience at each location, well, not a different experience, same customer service experience, but that different feeling. We can all think of the chains that we've been to where it's like, oh, look, another same store, which I'm sure some people like the comfort of going into
There's
a
like a
different
daily
place.
routine, right?
Sure, but I feel like especially if you're like going to a different neighborhood, you want to experience something a little different, but have a little bit of that comfort of like, I know and trust the brand.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit of a different experience. It's kind of exciting in your day.
Yeah, and like it also depends on the people, the employees themselves. Like they have to want to work there and like be excited to come every day, or else they're not going to translate that. It'll just be like
So
a
true.
Starbucks where they're more robotic and they're just like getting through it. But I mean, I'm sure if you go, you'll see like they really try to interact with you, and we always like press that as being really important for us. So
I love that. Okay, and something else you guys really strongly focus on is brand partnerships.
Yeah.
Let's
talk
talk
about
I can't wait to
Let's
talk about this.
talk about it.
Yeah. So
It's really as simple and obvious as it is in every industry. I feel like it's a bit revolutionary that they're doing it on this scale. So go.
yeah.
We'll let you talk.
Excited.
Yeah, my favorite thing. So we do a lot of different brand partnerships. We do some that are more like pop-ups or caterings with brands for events. And then our other thing that's really major for us is our sleeve partnerships, which I'm sure is what you've seen. So with that, every month we partner with a different brand in all kinds of industries: beauty, fashion, food, even television. And these brands get to design four coffee sleeves, and through that month that we partner with them, all of their coffee sleeves are used in our coffee shops in LA. So that gives them obviously a really good introduction to our database of people that, you know, either come in every day or are new to our shop, and obviously gives us a really good opportunity to partner with brands that we feel are on brand with us, and, you know, kind of just like get outside and do something more fun than like having the same thing every day. So
I love it.
I think it's so clever. How long have you guys been doing that for?
So it's been about 3 years. I think the first one was with Kelly Wursler, interior designer. So
I'm obsessed with Kelly
she's
Wursler.
amazing.
What did you guys do with her?
So she designed our first sleeves just like as a fun project.
She's such an artist. All the
Yeah.
lighting in my house, well, not all of it, but like, you know, those huge cubist pendants right when you walk in my house, I just built a house. Those are Kelly Wursler. And I just like creep
She's
her page.
awesome.
I actually am using her as a Boss Babe crush later today. I forgot how much I loved her. Go.
Oh yeah.
Back to you.
Love that.
Back to you.
So she designed the first sleeves as kind of just like a fun project, I think, because she was opening her store on Melrose also. So that was just like a fun collaboration, and then kind of picked up where people are like, oh, how can we get our brand to do this? How can we start to advertise with you and really build like, you know, a like selection of people that we wouldn't have reached otherwise.
Yeah.
So yeah, now it's been like 3 years. We've done so many different types of brands, but it's really fun because it keeps it fresh for our audience as well, because you know, they're coming in every day, but month to month they're getting something new, and, you know, learning about these new brands and seeing like these either funny or really cool artistic sleeves in our shops.
I
love
think that's
it.
just
Yeah.
amazing.
I know I would find like a lot of value in coming in and like seeing all these brands that you might not find elsewhere.
Yeah.
Well, and as a coffee shop, there's only so many ways, well, in the maybe traditionally, that people have
Right.
partnered with other brands. It's really unexpected that you're getting a sleeve that's
Yeah.
really focusing on another cool brand. So I think you guys have taken a coffee shop that maybe doesn't usually partner with anybody except like a local coffee roasting spot or a farm that you're featuring their beans or something, right? But you're like making it so much more mainstream.
It's like the coffee shop is the canvas.
Yeah.
And the brand is at the forefront.
Totally.
There's all these different elements that
It's
you can
really,
kind
really interesting from a
Yes.
business perspective. And I am
Yeah, I'm
really-
so intrigued by what you guys have done.
So what's what's coming?
well, I can't say the
Aside
exact-
from our coffee sleeves.
Spring 2020.
But we have some really great things coming. Next month is going to be amazing. And really focusing on, we're partnering with the brand, and we're focusing on more of like mental health and, you know, like engaging conversation with the sleeves. So like question-based sleeves that hopefully will get people to kind of like
Interact.
post and interact.
Wow,
and,
that's so cool.
And, you know, really
Like, how simple is that?
yeah, I mean, it's something that you're gonna get every day anyways, or whatever, like a couple times a week maybe you'll grab a coffee from Alfred, but it makes it fun and different.
I don't understand why you keep saying that. I would grab a coffee from Alfred every single day of the week, maybe twice a day.
Totally.
I mean, I do too.
If
but
it was like in my proximity, like,
Yeah.
I hope I'm not the only one.
No,
But then also I think of like, okay, For instance, Tazo tea, on every tea bag, they have like a little, on the tab, on the dipper, they have like a little saying or a quote or something. I feel like you guys have taken and done that, but on a way bigger scale.
Yeah.
I think though it's like the common thing, we talk about this all the time on the podcast, like with social media, it's removed a lot of human elements, and it's like people are craving the interaction, so they will interact, they will respond to a question, they want to engage in a conversation,
right?
It's why they're listening to podcasts,
right? And I feel like a month is also the perfect amount of time where you try it and it works, it doesn't work, whatever, you get over it. The next month you like have another one to go, and it gives you enough time to like try something new and see how people interact with it, if they like it, if they don't like it. But it works out. So
I feel like everything like from the outside looks all smooth, but what are some of the challenges you guys have faced? Because you're growing quickly.
Yeah, I mean, definitely challenges, like, well, for the partnerships, I would say, even like, because we give them the free reign to kind of design and come back to us. So like, waiting until that moment that they send in their first designs, or like, please be good. I hope it works.
Be on brand with Alfred.
I hope they listen to us. Just like something like that, like working with other people and making sure, like you both have the same vision.
Yeah.
That's really important.
And you're like constantly working with other brands. It's not like you're just working with your team all the time. You're constantly like switching it up.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like outside interaction is definitely a lot harder because you know your brand and what works and what doesn't work, but obviously they might have a different idea or opinion about it.
Oh, and especially if their branding is really different, they might be trying to push in a different direction than you.
Yeah. But which is why we always try to kind of, make sure the brand, we like, if it's something I like or think it's cool, like chances are like what we've done so far that people have liked, they're going to like these ideas too. And
that's true.
Just picking like-minded brands.
And finding kind of that middle ground where it matches both of your branding.
Right, and feels almost making it feel like more genuine and less like forced, or picking brands where it's gonna feel genuine.
Yeah, because that's the key. If you're pushing it or forcing it, it's probably not gonna work anyways.
Yeah, totally.
So you but that's the exciting part of the job, because it's like the world is your oyster. It's like, who am I gonna work with?
Yeah, and it's interesting too to see like a brand where you wouldn't have originally thought, you could work with, and somehow like you create this campaign that is it makes so much sense all of a sudden.
Have you always been a creative mind?
Yeah, always. I just love everything creative. It's just been always part of me. So
is that what you went to school for? We didn't really touch on that.
I went to school for textiles and apparel. So I did, so I did a lot of like visual merchandising classes, textile labs, all kinds of things, really. Art classes, design classes. So definitely creative.
And has your work experience always been in creating brands and marketing?
So before I worked at Alfred, I worked at Garrett Light doing more of like PR marketing, which was kind of different and wasn't as creative, which I found obviously I did not like as much as doing something creative. So working at Alfred is really great to give me like, that freedom to try new things and do all these different have all these different opportunities that I wouldn't have otherwise.
And you went to the Tokyo openings.
Yes, that was
which
amazing.
is really cool.
That was the best part.
Career highlight.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's really neat. The Tokyo ones. I think that's so cool.
Tokyo is amazing.
Tokyo shops. That's amazing.
I love it.
Well, something that we really love to ask every one of our guests is for a piece of advice or a mantra that you're living your life by.
I would say mine is currently just like trusting your gut more, like you said, because I feel like all these people can say, what they want. They can give you their opinion, advice, but obviously that's like outside noise and gets confusing. So really just like trusting yourself and what you think is right and going for that.
That's such good advice. I think that so many people, just like we were talking about this morning, like it's so easy to look at all these different sources of information. And I suppose that for your brand even, it would be so easy to look at what, like the feedback that people are giving, because people are pretty vocal.
Right.
Pretty vocal on
They like
social.
to give their opinion.
Yeah, but to just like frame it from the perspective of you just need to follow and trust what you guys have done that's been successful and that's worked for you, and keep doing that.
Yeah, it's definitely important to just like go through with your ideas and make sure you believe them.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming. I just like have really enjoyed hearing your. Are you asking another question?
No, you go for it. I am, but you go first.
No, you go. I thought that was your last question.
No, I was going to do the guest plug.
Okay, go.
Where can we find you online? I think we all know where Alfred's is, but go ahead and plug it anyways.
Well, you can find Alfred at Alfred. You can find me at mich.zad, mich.zad. And yeah, you can.
Alfred is Alfred everywhere.
Alfred is just Alfred. So
I love it.
there's only one.
Amazing. Okay, well, thank you so much again for being here, Michelle,
Yeah,
and sharing the
thank
story
you for
behind the
having
scenes of one of our favorite looking coffee shops. Remember to follow us on social at Style for the Priv and at Priv Talks Podcast. Feel free to subscribe, rate us 5 stars, and tell us how much you love us in the reviews. You can shop our website with the code Priv Talks for 20% off. And then hop into our Facebook group. I'm going to share my recipe, and we've got some other inside scoops events.
Do it
and
for the
giveaways.
recipe alone, really.
Yeah.
Like, I would.
I'm not going to share it publicly. It's only in the Facebook group.
I'm gonna
Like,
get
there's
that.
one missing ingredient that she hasn't shared on the podcast.
Stay tuned.
ingredient.
Good luck finding it without
Oh,
me.
What a great podcast. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Michelle.
Bye.